We understand the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Might I suggest that for a moment you change your thinking about government and the process of the elections? Let me take you back about 150 years during the Civil War. You know, the war between the states, North and South. That one, the one that was about slavery or the unions, depending on which side you were on or what side you believe. Anyway, that one. One side was funded by a guy named August Belmont. The other side was funded by the Erlangers. They were a family. Well, the two of them were related, and those two were related to the Rothschilds. You know, the international bank. All wars are banker wars. Those two should give you a clue. If that wasn't conspiratorial enough, but I'll fill you in even more. As a result of that war, the United States was broke. And the United States created the Act of 1871. That Act of 1871, and as a result of that, they borrowed money, of course, from the Rothschilds Bank. And you know, when you borrow money, you don't get it freely. There's a string attached. Well, that string that was attached made it so that the Rothschilds owned the United States, thus bringing to the point U.S. Code 28, Title 3002, Section 15A, states that the United States is a federal corporation. It's a business. And you know, when you have a business, you don't just go and ask the community who the president should be, right? I mean, the corporation picks the president. And it wasn't like that for a while. You know, it was from 1871 all the way up to about Woodrow Wilson, possibly. And since then, all of our elections have been selections. So the president right now has already been selected for 2020. You can count on it. Now, because the United States is a federal corporation, it's a business, everything about that corporation is for the business, not for we the people. That's not what it's for. It cannot and will not work for you. It works for the corporation. That's what it does. It's all about expanding the corporation and seeing how much money they can receive. And they do it very well. They give us the illusion that the voting election is real. You get a choice of broccoli or asparagus. Either way, you're going to get a vegetable. And once that person is in that they choose, they become a U.S. Code 28, Title 3002, Section 15A employee. That's how it works. The strategy that they use is divide and conquer between you and me. But really, it's between us and them, because it's a corporation. They do not have any obligation to fight for our freedom at all. We are the only ones who will be able to fight for our freedom. Isn't that what everybody wants? Don't you want to be just left alone? Every rule, every law that is written in the books by a person in a fancy suit takes away power from you and me and puts it in their hands. It makes us powerless, whether we commit the crime or follow the law or not. It takes our power away and gives it back to them. Is that what we want? So because we have a federal corporation called the United States, and because their role is to expand the government and generate income for that corporation, we operate under two different types of laws. One is the law of the sea, and the other one is the law of the land. And the law of the land is what you and I are being perceived as the Constitution, which that Constitution is no longer. It was replaced with the corporate Constitution in 1871. That Constitution is ran by the laws of the sea. Some people call it Admiralty Maritime Law. And that law states that you can't do business with a human. They made it so you and I become businesses every time a child is born and they get a birth certificate, through the social security cards, through marriage license, through your business license. You can look at your business license and at the top it calls your business name a fictitious name. And the reason why that is because with the birth certificates and the social security cards and the driver's license, all of those are a mirror image of us, a straw man, an effigy of us. And that's how they're able to do business. That piece of paper is the representation, the mirror reflection of the person holding the paper, which is you. So what they have essentially done is taken away a right that you naturally have and turned it into a privilege and makes you pay for it. Okay, that's just one aspect. There's many, many, many others. As a result of this federal corporation, and the root being the Rothschilds, who funded both sides of that Civil War and made a deal with the Congress of that time. I believe it was the 41st Congress. They and many other international banks are now joined in with what we're calling a government today, which is really, again, a federal corporation. I mean, let that sink in. It's not even American. The 10 to 13 mile radius called the District of Columbia, where the White House sits in the middle, is not even American territory. It's not even being ran by America. So every time we vote for that. Yes, we do. Everybody who works in the White House, Congress, Senate, President, Vice President, Secretary of State, whatever, they're working for that U.S. Code 28, Title 3002, Section 15A corporation. There's no other way of going around it. So you can pick your side, you can argue, and it's funny because if you look back and you view the arguments on, let's say, Twitter, one side's accusing the other side of the exact same thing. It's insanity. It really is. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that if you give your energy to this system, then we are literally consenting and perpetuating this slave-based society. And once they became a corporation in 1871, we became inheritors of the debt that they borrowed from this Rothschild's bank. Do we want to participate in that? And you know, people are constantly saying that they're going to vote for the lesser of two evils. Well, last time I checked, evil begets evil. So when you're voting for the lesser of two evils, you're still on the side of evil. And another thing I hear is if you don't vote, then you don't have a voice. Well, I find that to be BS, because I'll have more of a voice, because I won't be on the side of the racists. I won't be on the side of the pedophile. I'm not going to be on the side of censorship. I'm not going to be on the side of those who want to take away the Second Amendment. Thou shalt not be infringed. There's a reason for that. And we all know this. I know some of you have already voted. And I know a lot of you are going to go to the polls this coming up early November. And we'll find out who the selected president is. And things will continue. I just have a question. How much more free are you today than you were 5 years ago? 10 years ago? How about before 2001? I remember. Nobody has a right to tell you what to wear. And nobody will ever have the right to tell you to stay locked up in your homes. We have choices. And we are consenting to the choice of a federal corporation telling us what to do. Anyway, that's my take on it. It's a selection process. The United States isn't a country, it's a federal corporation. And when we vote, we are consenting to the demise of divide and conquer. And we are better than that. And yes, I will have a voice. I'll have a larger and louder voice by not consenting. The left wing and the right wing fly in harmony on the same bird of prey. That bird of prey is U.S. Code 28, Title 3002, Section 15A. The United States is a federal corporation. We do not have a president, we have a CEO. Yes, they can do some things, but in reality, all roads lead to Rome. They will take you in different directions, but at one point in time, they're going to merge. And that merge is New World Order. If you want to know what New World Order is, well, just look around. It's in every store. It's in every mom and pop business. It's in every school. It's everywhere. This is what it looks like. It's just a small little sample. It will only get worse. Contact tracing is going to turn into serious surveillance. If we go to a digital currency, they're going to know everything that we buy. Everything. When we buy, how much we buy, and a whole lot more. I'm just not going to consent to it. But from what I understand, there is a way out. And one of those ways that we can work together to get out is separate from the bottom of that pyramid. There's more of us than there are of them. What if 50% of us just did not vote? What would happen? We don't know because we've never tried it. What would happen if we started to volunteer more? We don't know because our government doesn't like competition. Just some things to think about.